What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and I am hosting. Although, to be fair, John, you got some nice comments, didn't you? Did you see some comments? It's nice to see John hosting for a change. I thought, yeah.
I didn't see them. I'll have to look back at that.
Oh, mate, they spoke highly of you, you know. Your presentating skills, your calmness under pressure. It was fantastic. However, I don't think calmness under pressure is going to be fantastic this weekend. Do you?
No, not for me, especially being there. Yeah, it's a game we go into. Run of form we're on's not great. Listen, we're playing a good team. A team managed by a really, really good manager. I rate Unai Emery really, really highly. He's got them into the Champions League. And it's going to be tough. But the way I look at this, for this weekend, listen, for 80 minutes of the Bournemouth game, the last league game we played before the international break, I'm actually going to give Sean Dyche some praise because for 80 minutes I thought he got it spot on. I thought his team selection was fine. I thought his tactics were fine. And then for the last 5, 7, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you want to look at it, it all went belly up and it just sort of outweighs everything that he got right for the first 70, 80 minutes. So I'm hoping he's learned from that. You know, he's had a bit of a break. Some of the players have been on international duty. I imagine he's given some of the players who weren't away some time off, give themselves a good look at themselves in the mirror and himself as well, because I think he needs to do that. And then we go into a game this weekend looking for our first point of the season. It's going to be tough, but what I will say, I'm not expecting to go there and get 3 points. But if we can put a performance in like we did for the first 70, 80 minutes, like we did against Bournemouth, let's just hope for a point and get the first point on the board for the season and push on from there. Because listen, by no stretch of the imagination am I going there confident that we can win this game.
You are, however, going there more confident than I am because I think Sean Dyche threw the game away against Bournemouth, so I'm not giving him credit. I thought his press conference today was toilet. I thought Colin Chong's statement was irrelevant. I don't understand why he released a statement today, basically telling us to not get overexcited, essentially. I mean, why would you release that? Are you basically saying it's not happening? I mean, I don't get that. We then go into a game against Aston Villa, who are very, very good, got Champions League football to look forward to, play really good football. Anana looks like a different player. I just sit there and think, go there, get smashed, go home. I mean, it's horrendous, right? It's absolutely horrendous. Me and you are almost on different scales. You know, you think we might get a point or you're hoping for a point. That is absolutely a better attitude than what I have got. And whether it's the mood I'm in, whether it's the football club grinding me down, whether it's just life, facts are, I have zero confidence in this team. I have zero confidence in most of the players, and I have zero confidence in the manager. So I expect to go there on Saturday and get absolutely torn a new one for probably the majority of the game. And the reason why is I can't see the positives as to how we get a result. You know, John, you're right in saying we could go there and get a point. And we saw weird performances last season and the season before. You know, we went to Brighton and won 5-1 when they were challenging for Europe. We drew 1-1 with Brighton at their place. We, you know, beat Liverpool 2-0. We went to Villa in the Carabao Cup and won 2-1. But this Everton team look absolutely devoid of confidence. They've conceded 10 goals in 3 games and they're going up against a Villa side that have got not just one top quality striker, but 2, in my opinion, in both John Duran and Ollie Watkins, against Michael Keane and Tarkowski. No. Mate, I'm dreading it, mate, if I'm being honest.
I will stop you there. Villa have got 5 big players out injured, so they are going to have to plug gaps. Listen, the league performance last season was shocking. 4-0, I think it was. I think it was 4-0, 4-2. I can't remember now.
We were losing after 4 minutes or something stupid, if you remember. Yeah. John McGinn, ball across the box.
Yeah, but the thing is, we went there and we won in the Cup, and it was only the Carabao Cup, and they played a weekend side. The only thing that's given me hope and positivity is the performance against Bournemouth. And listen, I'm not putting Bournemouth in the same ballpark as Villa. I'm not. But I think we can all agree that that performance against Bournemouth for 60, 70, 80 minutes, whatever you want to be, and we've said it on here, was probably one of the best performances we've seen for quite a while. Now, if we can take that there, I don't think we get ripped a new one if we can put a performance in like that. But the problem we've got with this squad of players and with this manager, we don't know which day they're going to come out with a normal-looking arsehole or one that's being ripped to shreds. And this is the thing with this football club. We just don't know what we're getting with this club. So I will be honest, mentioning Colin Chong, I wasn't aware of any statements because to be honest, I'm trying to distance myself from anything that comes out the club. And I know we spoke about John Textor yesterday. That wasn't directly from the club, obviously. So I'm not aware of what Colin Chong said. I know it's not a video to talk about him, it's to talk about the game Saturday. But it was just the performances that against Bournemouth that gave me that little bit of confidence. Thinking about it, that if we can put something like that in, you just never know if we can come away with a point. And listen, Villa the streets ahead of Everton Football Club, and we know that. The manager's streets ahead of ours, their squad streets ahead of ours, as you quite rightly say. Duran scoring goals for fun. Ollie Watkins, you've got to watch him. They've got great midfielders. Anana looks a different player. Granted, I'll hold my hands up since he's gone there. So it's not going to be easy. But Everton just need to play their game. Play the game that they played against Bournemouth. Set up with the same sort of team. Set up with the same tactics, Michael, where we went at Bournemouth. Get the ball to Ndiaye as much as we can. Cause Villa problems. And if we can do that, you just never know.
I love it, John. I love the optimism. I really do, mate. And
because I'm going.
You talk about 5 big injuries. I didn't realise it was that many, but I think Diego Carlos may start for Villa, who's got a bit of a moment in him. I think Matty Cash and I think the other right back they've got, it's Konza. I think they're both out. So they're going to be playing a young lad at right back, I think. Leon Bailey's also out as well. So Everton may get Joy down the left-hand side and Aston Villa's right-hand side, which is where Lilliman and Dye caused so many problems for Bournemouth. So, John, you are right. And I think if we are going to score the goal, it will be from that position. I think that's fair. It's defensively for me that worries me. It's we speak about how good we were against Bournemouth, and you are right. Against Bournemouth for 85 minutes, we were sound. We were great. Fair enough, they started turning the screw a little bit maybe after the 80th minute, but we were great. But we still managed to concede 3 goals. And when I sit there and I look at the defensive frailty that we've had, not stopping crosses, not tracking our men into the box, not winning headers. And when you've got 2 centre-halves like Michael Keane and Tarkowski, that genuinely should be bread and butter for them. And it hasn't been. I've got. You can even question some of Pickford's decisions on not coming out and catching and punching balls as well. To be honest, I mean, you could put all of that in the mix. Mikalenko, he's looked okay, but he definitely struggled at times in the last game. Certainly at the back post, he didn't win the headers twice. So, yeah, mate, I'm just maybe I am too negative going into this game. I just wish I felt at ease with Everton, and I just don't. And you mentioned we're not going to talk about the statement. If I'm being honest, I've brought up the statement and I was going to read it, so I'll read the statement to anyone that's not aware. So this is Colin Chong, Everton acting CEO. The club is aware of comments made by John Textor in relation to a potential purchase of the club. While positive conversations and progress continues to be made with Mr. Textor to formalise any deal with him, there remains some work to do to complete the transaction. Accordingly, the comments made by Mr. Textor merely represent his personal view on club matters. Everyone at the club is staying focused on providing the best support possible to Sean and the squad as we head into the weekend's fixture. The club will provide further updates in respect of new investment when there is material news to communicate to supporters and other stakeholders, and this will be done through official club channels. Now, I read that in 2 ways. One, Colin Chong and Everton as a club are absolutely seething that John Textor went on Sky Sports, did an interview with Alan Myers and discussed the issues. The question I would ask is, how has that been allowed to happen when Alan Myers appears to have relationships inside Everton? How has it happened that that interview has been sanctioned? Did Moshiri sanction it and not tell Colin Chong and the rest of the club? The fact that Everton have felt the need to release a statement that, in my opinion, doesn't really say anything makes me think this is not as advanced as we were actually told it was yesterday. And that worries me a touch.
In my opinion, John Textor's done nothing wrong. In my opinion, at the end of the day, Michael, you sit here and you've said the statement and all that. But as Everton fans, and we've said this on here many times, we don't hear nothing from the club. It's silent. On the day-to-day running of the club, the silence is deafening. So has Colin Chong released a statement like that off his own back because he's shitting himself at his own job? Could be something like that. Because at the end of the day, Moshiri's not going to give the go-ahead or stop it because, again, we'll say it again, he's not bothered. He's not bothered what anyone says about Everton Football Club. So for me, Jonathan Textor's done nothing wrong whatsoever. He spoke his mind, and maybe there's other people waiting in the wings to come in if the John Textor deal falls through, and that's what they're not happy about. But Everton can't talk to anybody else at the minute anyway because they're in that period of exclusivity. So they can't talk to anyone. So for Colin Chong to release a statement like that, I get it. But I don't think Textor's done anything wrong, in my opinion. No. He spoke out. He spoke passionate about owning our football club, the club that we love. And he's probably spoke more yesterday in that interview in 15 minutes than what we've heard from Farhad Moshiri in the last 2 or 3 years. So I just don't see the gripe with John Textor, because in that interview, from what I've seen, he also did say, and he mentions Crystal Palace and he says it's a club of love. He didn't say he loves Everton. He mentioned Crystal Palace, where his 45% shares are. So he was talking highly of Everton, and he's talking about he's surprised that he got the chance to buy Everton. That's all he's doing. And as you quite right pointed out on the video yesterday, he come out with a comment like, someone offers you to be the president of America and you can live in the White House, you grab it with 2 hands if you have that chance. That's all he's doing. He's bigging the club up. I don't see a problem with it. He wants the club. He's showing passion for the club before he's actually got the keys to Goodison Park. He spoke about the fans. He spoke about the stadium. He spoke about the heritage of Everton. He spoke about he doesn't want them bouncing round eighth. I don't see a problem with that. I see a man who really wants to buy our football club showing passion. So if the people and the powers that be, Colin Chong, who will probably be out of a job if Jonathan Textor takes over the club, is it sour grapes? That's what I see. Is it sour grapes that he doesn't like someone has come out and done an interview with Sky Sports? Alan Myers has got good leadencies with Everton. So Everton haven't put a stop to it. And let's be honest about it. I think Everton probably did know this interview was going to come out. Maybe Colin Chong didn't. I don't think he's done anything wrong. I think he spoke passionately. I think he spoke about a club that really want to get involved with and build the club up. For me, it was when he said he doesn't want them bouncing around eighth. And for me, he showed passion, and he showed more passion than what Colin Chong and Farhad Moshiri has in the last 3 years. So if there's any more interviews that are going to come out and he speaks about our beloved club like that, then I'm waiting for them.
Yeah, it's really difficult. I don't disagree at all, because I think what Everton have actually done is poured cold water on it, and we didn't need that. Like, literally, we're going into a weekend and me and you were there excited, and it's funny. We started this match preview. You were there talking about hoping to get a draw and, put in a performance. And I'm going into this going, we're going to get absolutely knobbed and it's going to be a disgrace, blah, 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 blah. And then you come out and you said you didn't know that there was a statement from Colin Chong, and it almost explains it, because it's Everton that put you down. It is always Everton that make you feel down. There is no reason for Colin Chong to release that statement. There was literally no reason other than other people might be interested in buying the club. Because you're right, John, he might not have a job, but I'm sure he's getting paid handsomely now. I'm sure he's not someone that's going to be struggling for opportunities in the future. I'm sure he's got a good reputation. And by all accounts, he hasn't done a bad job at Everton. You know, he has released the odd statement. He has come out and spoke about the club. I actually don't have an issue with Colin Chong as a person. I think he's done a decent job with a really, really bad set of cards. But the fundamentals are, why release that statement? And I sit here, I've read Twitter, I've looked at Facebook a little bit, and I just don't get it. I don't get it. And I think the fan base is different levels of confusion as well as to why, because it doesn't say a reason why John Textor was wrong in what he said. It just says it's almost a bit premature. And you sit there and think, well, he's told us he might have sold his shares in 2 weeks. So what happens if in 2 weeks' time John Textor's shares have sold? It's gonna look like Everton are the incompetent ones, not John Textor, which is only going to strengthen John Textor coming into Everton. So he's actually done no one any favours.
But the thing is, you say that made Everton look incompetent. They can't be made to look any more incompetent than what they have been under this current owner. And at the end of the day, we haven't got a point on the board to get 2 days before a game. Why couldn't he just wait? Listen, Colin Chong knows from the inside out how us Everton fans have been treated and what we've been through for the last 2, 3, 4 years. Why couldn't he hold back on that statement? Why couldn't he just wait until after Saturday's game? Because he's probably, listen, we know people in the club hear what's being said on social media and what's being said on YouTube channels like ours, for example, and the View from the Bullens and where it does get round, and people from the club do watch it. Now, Colin Chong knows, as a fan base, what we've been through. And yesterday, the way we were on here and many other YouTube channels, we were on a high after we heard the interview with John Textor. So why didn't Colin Chong just keep his fucking big mouth shut until the game from Saturday is out the way and then just release a statement instead of, again, yesterday, and I said on it here, we're just waiting for someone to burst this balloon. And I wasn't aware of the statement, and now he's fucking burst my balloon that much. I've landed in the sea. I can't swim, so I'm fucking drowning.
Brilliant. Back onto the preview. I'm not going to bother going through the team because I think it'll be the same team that started against... I
have no problem with starting the same team.
Against Bournemouth. The only thing is, did Coleman start against Bournemouth? Because he's a 50-50. And if he is a 50-50, for me, I either put Dixon in or I'll throw James Garner in at right back. Is, you know, we've saw clips. We know he's done it before. He's more than capable. For me, I'd probably stick James Garner in at right back.
Well, I'm the opposite. I'll probably go with Dixon. I think he put an assured performance in against Tottenham. You know, he got through straight in. I'd have no problem putting Dixon at right back. But apart from that, the same team for me, because as we said at the beginning of the video, I thought for the majority of the game against Bournemouth, I thought there was some good standout performances. I thought Tim put a fantastic performance in. He's going to have a point to prove. And Dye took the pressure off players with his close ball control and the skill that he had. Thought Calvert-Lewin was better in that game as well. So apart from the right back position, if Coleman doesn't make it, same team for me. Anana's going to have a point to prove, so we're going to have to watch him.
Yeah, and we've also got a new defensive midfielder available. You know, Orion Magala. So there is a player there that, you know, this is a guy that's a Belgium international. I think he's got 20 caps. So, you know, he's no mug. He knows how to play football, and Forest fans were raving about him when I spoke to him about him. So, there's a quality footballer going to be sitting on our bench as well, alongside Jake O'Brien, alongside Beto or whatever. I'm not saying a quality footballer, but the bench looks a little bit stronger than it did. Probably even last season, it looks a little bit stronger now. So it looks like we might have a few more options. I just think Everton need to go there and not sit back, not defend, not do what Sean Dyche does, and just have a proper go, get the ball into the channels and use the pace of Indai and whoever it is on the right hand side. I mean, I'm not massively pro any of our wingers, if I'm being honest, but Indai's got a bit pace. We know that. We know there's ball carriers in that team like Tim. And we know that Calvert-Lewin appeared to look better against Bournemouth. So, by all accounts, there's a threat. So, yeah.
Mate, I think if Ndai plays and Tim play, and they play the way they did against Bournemouth, I think they could be game changers for us. Just them two players alone. If they're on it like they were against Bournemouth, I think it gives us half a chance.
Good. Score prediction?
1-1.
3-0 Villa. It's all right, John. We've only got Leicester away after.
We've got Southampton first at home.
Yeah, Southampton, Leicester, and then what was it? Palace at home, was it?
Palace and Newcastle.
No, it sounds awful. So, right, we will leave it there. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, guys. I'm going to go and have dinner, cry myself to sleep, and start again tomorrow. So, peace.